Get right into things. Caitlin Clark did take the practice court today. Let's get into that. Bang, she's back. I wish she wasn't going to be on a minutes restriction, man. All right, so you see back in...
It was all false. Every single word of it. For weeks, the Indiana Fever front office and coaching staff stood beneath the flashing lights, looked directly into the media cameras, and repeated the exact same story. They said Caitlin Clark was being managed. They said it was only precautionary. They said they were protecting their franchise player. But on live television, the entire narrative didn't just crack. It completely shattered. The truth has finally come out, and what actually happened behind closed doors inside the Indiana Fever organization is sending shockwaves throughout the entire sports world. The system has been fully exposed, and the fallout is so severe that even Stephen A. Smith couldn't hold back, erupting on live TV in a furious rant that has left the WNBA completely stunned. Caitlin Clark is officially back in the starting lineup. That is the news they wanted you to focus on. That is the headline they believed would bury the scandal. But it's the massive, unexplainable catch that has fans absolutely furious. She is on a strict, severe minutes restriction. A restriction that makes absolutely no sense if you believe the official medical reports.
Protect the golden goose. Why you think Matt Barnes went on social media and was, from all the smoke, and he went on social media and he was talking about, where the hell are your teammates? You got to protect us. It's not to say the competition doesn't compete against Caitlin Clark hard. Doesn't mean they don't go after her. Doesn't mean they don't try to get the best of her and what have you. But you do it with an appreciation for what she's bringing, because you recognize the rising tide lifts all boats. And if that golden goose is a wave that we can ride to elevate ourselves to a place that we've been working diligently for years to achieve.
It makes you wonder, what are they actually hiding? Because the deeper you look into this timeline, the more disturbing the reality becomes. This was never just about an injury. This was about control. This was about a coaching staff desperate to cover up its own catastrophic mistakes. And tonight, we are breaking down every single hidden detail, the secret meetings, and the exact moment the lies were exposed on live television. If you thought you knew the drama surrounding Caitlin Clark's sudden benching, you haven't heard anything yet. To understand how deep this deception goes, you have to look at the exact moment the entire house of cards collapsed. It happened live in front of millions of viewers when the official injury report was leaked right before airtime. For days, the coaching staff had been hinting that Caitlin was dealing with a minor day-to-day issue. They claimed it was nothing serious, just standard mid-season wear and tear. But when the medical staff's internal notes accidentally conflicted with the coach's public statements, the entire basketball community realized they were being fed a fabricated storyline.
And you know this sport backwards and forwards. All three of you do. And so when I took the position last year, when there was some Caitlin Clark issues, like, listen, there's some jealousy. It's not everybody. It's not most. But there's some resentment there. On one hand, I understood it because I said, hey, you know what? There's ladies that's been in this league for years that did everything they could to uplift and build the sport to this point, and then everybody wants to throw all the praise and all the acclaim in Caitlin Clark's direction, so that's going to build some resentment. But on the other hand, a rising tide lifts all boats. And just like folks in the NBA rode that Magic Johnson, Larry Bird wave, and then they ultimately rode the Michael Jordan wave, that's what these ladies should be doing when it comes to Caitlin Clark. I want to know, in your opinion, what kind of, what do you believe played a role in some of this stuff? Is it just isolated incidents, or do you concede that there is some resentment towards this young lady?
Can I give you an example? Because
Please.
We're coming off of the NBA draft, right? And AJ Dubonsic goes #1, and all of these other players are saying, Caleb Wilson, Darren Peterson, all of the players are saying, I'm going to spend my career trying to prove why I deserve being #1.
Okay.
It's very normal in sports for people to try to knock off the top dog, right? Like, it's very normal. But what people don't understand is that, like, I played basketball. I started playing when I was 10. I'm 34. So that's 24 years of me seeing the women's game in real time. When Skylar Diggins came out of Notre Dame and went to the WNBA, she was...
Stephen A. Smith took one look at the timeline and absolutely erupted on live television. His voice echoed through the studio as he exposed the massive contradictions. He demanded to know why a generational superstar, a player who has single-handedly transformed the ratings, attendance, and financial trajectory of the entire league, was suddenly being treated like a liability by her own coach. He looked directly into the camera and said what every single fan had been thinking. The coaching staff was using injuries as a smokescreen to hide a massive internal power struggle. The media room went completely silent. The cover-up was blown wide open. The coaches' lies weren't just questioned, they were completely dismantled in real time. Fans who had been patiently waiting for Clark's return suddenly realized they had been misled for weeks. The outrage didn't just spark a conversation, it ignited a full-blown rebellion among the Fever faithful.
Those 8 days off that you guys had last week just to rest and to have some practice.
It feels kind of weird, like honestly, like it's like you play for like 2 weeks straight. I think we had like 5 games and 8 days or whatever it was, and you get so in a groove of going from scout to scout and knowing what people are going to do, and then you have some time off and you're back to like it kind of has that training camp feel and get back into the swing of things. I thought obviously everybody came out and played really well versus Vegas, and this is a long trip for us, 11 days. You have to keep building and finding ways to win, but even for myself, obviously having missed the 2 games, it feels even longer, like I've had this really long break, but at the same time, get your body right and then your mind right and get back into it.
How's the team bonding been? What are you learning about this iteration?
Yeah, it's been fun. Like we went to Nobu last night in Malibu. Like we just find fun things to do, and when you're on the road for 10 days, you better like each other and find things to do, or else it's gonna be a really long trip. And lucky enough, we have a great group, and it's been fun to spend time with everybody and spend some time at the tables in Vegas. I'm down, so. But the good thing is we're going back, so you can get even or get even worse.
What are you playing?
I like blackjack and roulette. Yeah, Black 22 hasn't hit yet, but I'm feeling confident going back there that it might hit. But no, it's been fun to be around everybody. Obviously, a great group of people, and it makes playing basketball.
But it gets worse, way worse. If the injury was real, and if she is truly healthy enough to step back onto the hardwood and start a professional basketball game, then explain the restriction. Explain why the coaching staff announced that Caitlin would be pulled from the floor the exact moment she hits a highly specific limited number of minutes. It defies all basketball logic. You do not start your ultimate franchise player, the literal engine of your offense, just to chain her to the bench during the most critical moments of the game. Unless, of course, the restriction isn't medical at all. Inside sources are now whispering that this minutes restriction is a calculated move by a coaching staff that feels completely threatened by Clark's unprecedented influence. By putting her on a strict time limit, they control the narrative. If the team wins while she's on the bench, the coach looks like a genius who doesn't need a superstar. If the team loses, they can simply blame the medical staff and the restriction. It is a win-win for a desperate coach, but a massive loss for the game of basketball. The sheer arrogance of this strategy has left analysts completely stunned. They are playing mind games with a generational talent, using minutes as a weapon to assert authority. And the worst part, Caitlin Clark knows exactly what they are doing.
So what woman is more popular?
If you wanna go from a marketing perspective, sure, Caitlin is extremely marketable. However, I just want to pitch this to everyone. Imagine Caitlin joining this team and spending time on the bench. What is the conversation going to be about the entire time the Olympics is going on? Why isn't Caitlin getting more minutes? Why isn't Caitlin playing? I'm sure people will tune in, but what will the conversation be then? I think it's really interesting. Head coach Christy Sides for the Indiana Fever said that a monster was woken up in Caitlin Clark, and I think that is wonderful. I think motivation for Caitlin is wonderful. I'm gonna say this, a monster has been woken in all of the women that were selected for the Olympic team also, because the conversation is again centered around Caitlin Clark. If your only argument for Caitlin is that it would have been a great marketing opportunity and you don't have basketball experience or chemistry with the group listed in your reasoning, I don't want to hear it. When you talk about Diana Taurasi, she has played overseas basketball. She is having a phenomenal season, putting up big time numbers, and two of her current teammates, though, are on the team, Shannon. You know what chemistry means. You know what it means to have somebody beside you.
The tension inside the Indiana Fever locker room has officially reached a boiling point. Imagine being the focal point of women's basketball, arriving at the arena ready to dominate, only to be told that your own leadership is putting handcuffs on your game. The frustration that Caitlin's faced during recent practices has been impossible to hide. She wants to play. She wants to win. But instead, she is caught in the middle of an administrative circus. The fans are angrier now than they have ever been in WNBA history. They didn't buy tickets, clear their schedules, and pack arenas to watch a coaching staff play politics with the best passer and shooter in the draft class. The backlash online has been absolute chaos. Hashtags demanding the immediate firing of the coaching staff are trending globally. Billboards are being purchased. The pressure on the front office is becoming completely unsustainable. They thought announcing her return to the starting lineup would calm the fan base. They thought the crowd would simply cheer and forget about the weeks of silence and bizarre benchings. But the fans saw right through the strategy. They see the minutes restriction for exactly what it is, a desperate final attempt by an exposed coach to maintain a grip on a team that has completely lost faith in her leadership. So, where does the Indiana Fever go from here? The system has been exposed, the coach's credibility is completely gone, and the franchise is sitting on a ticking time bomb. You cannot run an organization by misleading the media, alienating your superstar, and treating your fan base like they don't understand the game.
All I wanted this year was to watch Caitlin play basketball. I guess it was too much to ask for. Already missing our third game. What you meant to say is Caitlin Clark is out with back issues because Stephanie White and the Fever organization don't have her back. I'm out, won't be watching. Caitlin Clark out, precautionary. Angry black lesbians are trying to injure her. I'm ruled out too. No CC, not watching the game. I'd rather watch paint dry than watching Kelsey Mitchell dribble. I am out too for this game. Damn. Coach White's post-game outrage doesn't excuse her failure to protect star player on the court. Wish they would tell us more about her back. Is it chronic or due to an injury? Back problems are not minor injuries. Indeed so, Hallie. But the thing is, if they were to be honest with us and upfront about what the severity of the injury is, well, then they're losing potential people buying tickets. You don't deserve Caitlin. Damn. You've heard of guilt by association? Well, our support is by association. No CC, no nod.
The WNBA is watching closely because this is no longer just an Indiana problem. This is a league-wide scandal. When you sabotage the minutes of the most marketable athlete in the sport, you are sabotaging the league's success. The pressure from sponsors, television networks, and the fans is converging into a perfect storm. The coaching drama might be reaching its final chapter, but the consequences are just beginning. Will the front office step in and terminate the coaching staff before the damage becomes irreversible? Or will they allow this toxic environment to completely ruin Caitlin Clark's season? One thing is absolutely certain. The truth cannot be hidden anymore. The lies were exposed on live television for the whole world to see, and the clock is officially ticking. The next few games won't just determine the Fever's record. They will determine the future of this franchise. Turn on your notifications because this situation is evolving by the hour, and the real explosion is about to happen.